Happy Coming Out Day 2022. My name is Bernie Schlager. I use pronouns he and they, and I serve as Executive Director at the Center for LGBTQ and Gender Studies here at PSR. I also am a faculty member. Coming Out Day for me means a number of things, but first and foremost, that coming out is a joyful experience that includes and involves leaving behind the closet. Closets are hidden places. Closets are places that often do not see the daylight. And so as I reflect on coming out, when I first came out in 1985, and as I continually come out in my life, I think that it is an experience most often of leaving the closet behind. Secondly, coming out for me means rejecting the lie that being queer, being LGBTQ+, is somehow sinful or a sign of illness. We as queer people have been taught, and told rather, for so many years and decades and even centuries by religious leaders and others that being queer is something that is sinful or evil. And we know in our hearts that it is not. And then thirdly, coming out for me means being able to express myself as a loving and lovable human being.
Hi friends, my name is Carla. I'm the Latinx Roundtable Coordinator for CLGS at PSR. I grew up in Puerto Rico and I now live in New York City. I'm a GTU and CDSP grad in 2001. What does coming out mean to me today? It means to me to continue growing into who God already knows me to be. I love the image of God knowing me by name and being created in the image of God, the full breadth of what that is for me and for all of us. So a lifetime of discerning and growing into who God already knows me to be. That to me is coming out, living into how God knows me by name. And believing and knowing fully that I'm wonderfully and wondrously made, as it says in Psalm 139. I hope that you know that, friends, that you are wonderfully and wondrously made. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you were born, I consecrated you, and I appointed you a prophet to the nations. Jeremiah 1. I am glad to be part of, with you, the breadth of what it is to be made in the image of God.
I am the Reverend Dr. Roland Stringfellow, and my pronouns are he and him, and I am the coordinator of the African American Roundtable at the Center for LGBTQ and Gender Studies and Religion here at Pacific School of Religion. On this coming out day in 2022, as an out gay Black man, that means for me that I must be even more bold and courageous than I ever have been in the past. With our democracy crumbling around us and the threats to privacy, to choice, for me even driving while Black, and even having the threat of not being able to marry who I love. In these days of coming out, that means that we must not just simply focus on ourselves as individuals, but for us collectively. So coming out of the closet around your sexuality, your sexual orientation, your gender identity or expression, that is wonderful for the individual. But we need to think about how our lives impact one another, to care about our sisters and our brothers. This is an issue about integrity and truth-telling and building diversity. And this is what coming out means for all of us, no matter how you identify.
Hi, I'm Reverend Jacob Hero Shaw. I am a gay trans man. I am a husband, I am a father, and I'm a pastor. National Coming Out Day matters to me because when I think back to over 20 years ago when I first started transitioning, I didn't know anyone at all who was like me. In fact, I was told that because I'm a gay man, I wasn't even allowed to transition. And then I did these things that I was told I'm not allowed to do. I became a pastor even though people said that queer people can't be pastors. And when I met my husband, marriage equality wasn't even legal yet. And here we are, married. Here I am, having legally adopted our kids, and here I am pastoring. What an amazing blessing. National Coming Out Day matters to me because I would have loved to have been able to know someone like me when I was first coming out, to know that I was valid and okay.
Good morning. My name is Mage Rumai. I use they, them, or he, him pronouns, and I currently work as the Roundtable Coordinator for the Asian American and Pacific Islander Roundtable at CLGS. Coming Out Day in 2022 for me means a continual process of growth and transformation into whatever and however and whyever I want to be who I want to be in this particular world, in a particular time, in this particular space, what that can look like in the past, in the present, and the future moving forward. Coming out for me is not just about gender and sexuality, but it is about a fuller and more robust understanding of who I am in relationship to myself, to the world around me, and to the communities that I exist in and am a part of.
I'm Rabbi Jane Rachel Littman, the coordinator of the Jewish Roundtable at the Center for LGBTQ and Gender Studies, CLGS, at the Pacific School of Religion. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you a meaningful Coming Out Day. Coming out is not an event, but a process by which we find our more authentic internal selves and make them visible externally. I support the people who've taken the risk and are courageous in coming out. And I also support the people who don't come out, who stay in the closet for need of safety. Safety is important. People should only come out if they feel they can do so safely. People come out due to sexual orientation, and there are other forms of coming out as well. People with hidden disabilities or neurodivergent people often need to come out in order to gain the accommodations to live a successful life. Jews, Muslims, Buddhists, and Hindus often have a process of coming out all through December when Christian normativity is taken for granted. People also come out in terms of race. People who have mixed heritages are often unseen in their whole being and must come out to show who they are. And lastly, people come out in terms of gender orientation, gender identity. People come out as trans, as non-binary, as genderqueer, as gender non-conforming, in order to be seen as their true selves.
So on this National Coming Out Day, I celebrate all of the people who make our community so wonderful, so beautiful, and so diverse. Thank you.
So on this Coming Out Day, I wish you a happy, prideful day to you and to yours.
Be well, friends. Happy Coming Out Day.
Coming out is wonderful, and it never stops, so keep going.
So today, National Coming Out Day, I salute everyone who has the courage and the ability to come out, and I also salute those of you who sit in the closet and wish for a future in which you will be able to come out. Thank you.
Again, happy Coming Out Day 2022.